So should we get some message in the chat? Okay. So we have Erica for the next 30 minutes. So I think we should benefit from her time. So Kostya, I think if I'm not mistaken, we're pretty close to finishing the border issues in at least in Southeast Asia. No?
Yes, sir, and I think we actually more or less finished it, because if we go more to the south, then we don't have any maps of Malaysia. Therefore, Indonesia, Philippines, they're not bordering anyone.
Yes.
And Japan, obviously, and Sri Lanka. So we can still explore the matching of Mongolia map with Russia, for example. The matching is pretty good there, if you want, or we can just move forward.
So indeed, so just before leaping up to more northern soils and colder conditions, I was just going to ask whether for the colleagues from Sri Lanka and also from Japan or Philippines or Indonesia, these countries that don't have any border issues, whether they wanted to raise any issues or any questions to Erica, or if they encountered any problems that we need to discuss, or if everybody's quite happy with the situation. Uday, maybe let's start in the West. Any issues? I mean, if there are no issues, then we can just move on.
Okay, shall we move to the north then?
Well, let's go through Marcus in Indonesia. Any problems?
I think Indonesia.
Yeah. Yeah, we just for the scale, because we have lots of island, and probably some of the small island will disappear in the map.
Yes.
But so far we don't have any significant problem for the provide the maps. Probably just we have any problem with the boundary with Papua New Guinea. This is the only one we have for the probably different classification for Papua or Indonesia and Papua New Guinea in the east.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether there are any difference appear for the boundary between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. Kostya, do you have any problem with the soil unit between the two countries?
Well, if you can see in the map, we did not receive any contribution from Papua New Guinea yet. So I guess that will be also a question of which data sets we will use for.
Okay.
Right.
We will see later if any soil map from Papua New Guinea, if we have a different, especially for the for the mapping unit within the boundary between the two countries.
But can I ask a question? So we need of data from Papua New Guinea.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that falls under the Pacific Soil Partnership, so we didn't talk to them at all. I should contact them.
Yeah. They are included in the list of countries.
Okay, so I will send them an email today. Sorry.
Okay, then I guess this question will be postponed to when we have some data from there. Like in general, we see that there is not a very big detail in terms of reference soil groups here on Papua Island at the border. yeah, we see that from Indonesian side, it is mostly Gambi soils.
Constia, can you click in Papua? There is the blue one, blue in top and blue in the middle. What is this? Yeah, that's one. What is that? What is the?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is
I'm clicking. Just sorry, my computer is really slow.
that? Histosol?
See, I can expect that. Yes, indeed, these are histosols.
Histosol, and we should check that again, Pak Marcus. Maybe we should check this. This is histosol or just misclassification or misinterpretation.
Okay,
If in the northern, if you can overlay with the relief, that will be okay. But in the northern of Papua, that's that one. In the northern part, that is the valley. This is the valley. This is okay. We found the syntosol this one in the northern, in the middle, northern middle. There is valley.
This
Yeah,
one.
in that area is okay. But for this one, I should check our data. Or Pak Marcus, you have comment? Do you have comment for that?
Yeah, that's right. That's the pit soil in there for the middle along the river.
No, I mean in near Papua, near Merauke. Merauke, you see
the
like,
southern part.
yeah, that's I agree with you. What about in the bottom, the blue one?
Oh,
No, in the
better to the south.
southern Papua, Move
Okay.
to,
Scroll down,
yeah,
please.
please, Konstia. That's one, the blue one in this blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is histosol.
We should check Pak Marcus. I'm
Yeah.
wondering that is
Yeah.
the pit.
Yeah, we need to check that. Yeah. Yeah, could be some mineral soil in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Pak.
Yeah. We will need to check that.
So, Lucrezia, just sorry, some confusion on my part. I was indeed we haven't considered Papua New Guinea at all. It's I was thinking about Timor-Leste, so we haven't considered Papua New Guinea at all. I mean, geologically, they are part of the Asian continent, but for the time being, we don't have to react then.
So I don't contact Papua New Guinea, but we would like to have inputs from Timor-Leste.
Oh, yes. But,
Okay, I will try because the national focal point in there is not really active.
Mhm.
But okay, I will try.
Yeah, they have. I see that they have quite a good soil map for Timor-Leste.
Okay.
Okay, and then just the Philippines. Any comment? Okay. No. Sorry for leaping around. So, in reaction to the comment of Marcus for the small island, perhaps within the Atlas body itself, we can make maybe a small section on maybe the soils of some small islands, just to demonstrate. Maybe we can choose a volcanic island, or maybe something with coral, just to show an example of the soil distribution on one of these small islands. But unfortunately, yes, given the scale, I think we will lose a few of these. when we come back and look at the map spreads, then maybe there we can also think about maybe putting an insert for some of them to show them at a slightly larger scale, but we'll have a look at that later. Okay, if there's no comment from the colleagues in the Philippines, we'll go to Japan. So, Yuji, any questions or reflections from the work in Japan?
I'm Yuji. I have no comment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. So that looks all in order there. So let's go to the border with Mongolia then.
Okay, sorry again for my slow internet. You can see here now Mongolia and the border with Russia. We already saw that there are some very good matches here. So maybe some issues here we can see at this part. So on the Russian side here we have some podzols, and the blue ones are phasms. While on Mongolian side, right across the border, what we find are histosols. And ombrisols, and also podzols. Okay, but I would like to see is this particular orange one. There are ombrisols. So basically there is ombrisols from Mongolia's side, quite widespread along the border, the orange ones. And on the Russian side, it is mostly the green yellow one are the podzols.
Is Pavel with us?
No, not today.
And the Mongolian colleague is with us.
Yeah, hello.
Yes,
Hi.
yes.
Hello.
Yes.
I think one of the reasons might be that the podzols and clay accumulation soils in Russia are having great traditions to classify differently. I suggest that we discuss this with Pavel or the other Russian colleague who was participating in the development of the map. I don't think we should discuss it in great big details with the big group. I suggest that we have a small group discussion with Pavel and the Mongolian colleagues. But beside the podzol and other reference group questions, yeah, I understand, but I think there is also a scale problem, right?
Yeah, obviously Mongolian map is more detailed here.
Yeah, but I think we need the Russian colleagues to this discussion. And just the fact that these are forested areas, to me, are suggesting that the umbrisols and histosols are related to the accumulation of the forest floor. The big question is how deep, because if it is on mineral material, you need 40 centimeter depths for the litter, or even 60 if it is moss, developed from moss. So sometimes histosols are identified if you have an organic layer on the top, but the depth is a very important issue. And even some of the podzols may have some of these organic layers. I suggest that we have a three-party discussion with the Russians and the Mongolians for this border. It looks very bad. I think it has to be discussed. I don't know, Arvin, what you think.
Yeah. So
I can send a message to Pavel to let us know when he and the Mongolian colleagues are available together this week, perhaps. But I think we need them for this discussion.
Indeed.
The entire borderline looks absolutely different.
Yeah, indeed. So first of all, if we just try to memorize that the picture from Kostian's map now. So if you stop sharing for a second. I just move the chat out of the way. So again, so we can see the border here, and actually this region here in the dark green corresponds very well, I think, with
You are not sharing the screen, Arvin.
No.
No.
Okay.
Coming.
So hopefully now you can see the border region that Kostya was showing you before. And indeed, this dark green area on the Mongolian side, I think corresponds very well with what was being shown on the Mongolian soil map. And we can see that it seems to extend maybe with more forests into the Russian side, but the the general patterns that were being shown on the Russian data set were very different, I think, to the landscape we were looking at here. I could see some of these river systems. This one in particular, I think, was coming through, and this one, but there were some features within here that were not so evident. So the Russian data is indeed, I think, even at 1 to 2.5 million scale. So it's much coarser than what we have in from Mongolia. So tomorrow is the session with the Central Asian countries, and so maybe this is something that we can discuss again during tomorrow's morning meeting, when we have also the Russian colleagues joining, Maria in particular.
Yes.
But again, I think there was a comment at the very beginning that perhaps we have should attach maybe some higher confidence to the more detailed mapping, which tends to be a bit newer, and so maybe the insinuation is that we have to look at maybe what other information is being presented in the Russian data set. And again, it may be that there are, very close percentages of the associated soils and the dominant soil, and maybe it's just a matter of reassigning some of these values. Okay, I'll stop sharing. Kostya, are there any other specific issues for the Russian-Mongolian border?
Okay, so basically when we move to more to the west from this side, we see like more matching on both sides of the border. We see these umbrisols on both sides of the border, but just along the border matching quite well. Also castanozems on the both sides of the border. Here, yeah, this central region is the most stark difference probably. And then when we move to the eastern part, then here we have also quite a difference. So from Mongolian side here, what we have is castanisms, leptic castanisms, and we have the traces of those castanisms also on the Russian side matching, but on the Russian side we have much more of other soils in the region, Chernozems. So Chernozems, castanisms, okay, pretty close, I guess. Also FAO-GSP, so these are all high carbon soils here, but they're classified a little bit differently on both sides of the border. In this area. So I guess that also can be discussed tomorrow with the Eurasian session. What do you think?
Yes, I think so. Yes. I'm just looking
I
at.
think, mostly that will be all.
Yeah. So again, if you just maybe stop sharing for a second. So again, I hope you can see it now. So we can see the border region here. We have this lake feature here. That was evidence also in the Soma. So it's clear that there is an extension of the steppe region just over the border at least. So we should see continuations of these say organic rich soils carrying on. So the implications is that there should be some continuity, but when we do zoom down, we begin to see some topography coming in, and maybe that's some of the elements that we are beginning to pick up on the other side of the border, because here on the Mongolian side, it looks relatively uniform, but very close then to the border, we begin to get some relief appearing. So again, perhaps this is a relatively straightforward part to adjust, taking into account maybe what we're seeing in on this imagery. And the same with the soil grids. I see that I'm not sure what they're so predominantly Castanozems, but also with Chernozems. So indeed, that's more or less what we're showing. But again, there we see that the topography begins to become a bit more apparent after you cross into the Russian side. But so predominantly we have maybe some coherence with the lowland areas, and then we have to sort of look at maintaining what's there for the upland region. So again, maybe this isn't quite as insurmountable as in other areas. I think the fact that we're having these similar sort of steppe soils, we just have to maybe have a look to see what the basis for that is in the Russian side. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to draw our attention to, Kostyan, or are we pretty much there in terms of the border issues?
Yeah, I think we reviewed mostly the biggest cases. So what I wanted to ask is more of an organizational matter, because we identified certain countries that might want to examine together their borderlands,
Yeah.
like Thailand and Laos, or Myanmar, and sort of countries. So I don't know, how should we proceed? Should we share the joint data set or some parts of that with certain countries or not? Or...
So in what format now is the joint product?
Yeah, it's a shapefile. I think you have it on the Google Drive.
Yeah. I don't have ArcMap on the, so I haven't looked at at the shared folder on my at home. So indeed, Erica, sorry, Lucrezia, does everybody have access to the shared folder where the map is occurring?
So they have access to the folder where they can upload all written and picture material. For the maps, because the space on the drive was too limited, we said that they should have sent an email to Kostya. So Kostya, I don't know if they have access to your folder.
No, they don't have access. So that's what I'm asking. Should we give the access to everyone to the merged file then?
Maybe to download, maybe, yes. So we don't.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So maybe what we can do is that people can download the shared file, and we give people, let's say, maybe a few weeks to absorb, let's say, what we've talked about today, and maybe to sort of look into the issues that have been highlighted. And then if we can, maybe before the end of the year, we arrange maybe a series of bilateral meetings with each country to see how we can address that and what decision we take eventually on the map in the atlas. I don't know if that sounds as a sort of a sensible approach. We can, because I think to make a final decision today will be very difficult, but maybe with sort of a 1 hour or shorter meeting with pairs of countries, we can work ourselves around the border, or maybe in some cases we need to have 3 countries there if there are adjacent countries around. So maybe we can do it in a more efficient manner. But my suggestion would be for people to go away and think about and reflect on let's say, the discussions we've had this morning, and say maybe in the middle of December we'll come back and contact you for a short meeting to finalize this.
Arwin, I'm taking notes as we talk. So the decision is that Kostya will give access to everybody to the folder, yes, so that they can download the shapefile of the map. We give them a few weeks to review it, and then we organize these bilateral 3 countries talks.
Yeah.
Still, we will still prepare a list of mismatches, right? In terms of borders, and then Erica will still ask questions to countries on how soil was classified, so that we can address some issues by email already. No, this was the decision.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I would suggest that there are some things that I can add and change in the layer already. For example, today we received updated map of Sri Lanka, so I will add it before sharing, I guess. And on those issues that we discussed today, for example, reclassifying rock outcrops as nudilitic leptosols, I can do it already on the global layer, or shall we leave this decision to the countries?
I think it's default.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I would change so that we have a consistent approach. So they become nudilitic leptosols.
I have to quit. Have a good meeting. I have to change to my class.
Okay, thank you very much, Erica.
Ciao, Erica. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
Bye.
For the case for India, we will have to see. I'll also make some investigations to see how maybe if we can separate out the glaciers. There may be a global data set of glaciers that we can apply. So we'll see about that. For the anthrosols, I think maybe we can also leave that for now, because I think there's some there's quite a lot of effort, I think, to reclassify that unless I was looking to see, first of all, whether we can find a land cover product that maybe we can just simply apply, so that underneath this mask, areas of rice cultivation can be redefined as anthrosols. But I'll make some investigations into that first. I think because we have some in-house, some detailed land cover maps for South and Southeast Asia derived from spot vegetation data. So I'll have a look first in here to see whether there are some elements that we can maybe use. Okay.
Okay. Okay. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay. So thank you very much, Kostian, for that work. Maybe just to finish off on this part, we still have, let's say, a number of countries that we haven't received any data for. Do we have any updates on those, or are there people willing to give some indication of when we might get some information or data from you?
So Kostya, maybe you can recall the countries from which we still need the maps.
Yeah, I can see Pakistan. I can see Wakar is connected.
Yes, Kostian, I'm here, and we have shared the information of correlation table, country profile, but as far as the maps are concerned, we were able to secure the information because there was a problem at national scale to get a representative data. So we were able to get the information. We have about 100,000 data points available with us, and a team of us, one of us is working on the data set. And I did highlight that we may need some sort of support for processing the information. We do expect to finalize the things and get back to you guys for any support in case needed during the coming week. So as soon as possible, we would definitely touch base regarding this. But for the rest of the things, you may have seen that we are on top of these things. We have shared other information.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So, if I understood correctly, like in the coming week or few weeks, we might expect a map from Pakistan.
Yeah, definitely in coming week, we would share the information regarding the maps. And in case there is any support required, then definitely we're going to request you guys because we have highlighted earlier that we don't have any information up to the depth of 100 centimeter. So we do have the information to prepare the maps of surface salinity. So 0 to some in orchard soils, we have information up to 0 to 30 centimeter. And for other simple crops, we do have information of 0 to 15 centimeter layer of the soil. But we have sorted out the related models as well. So I will be sharing all this information very soon with Christian and with Kosti and you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Wakar, I need to clarify here because we are actually not talking about salinity maps right now. Yeah, salinity map is another work and another project. And here we are talking about the WRB soil type maps, which is a completely different work. So I don't know what is your situation with the WRB map, the map of soil types according to WRB classification.
For the WRB thing, we haven't yet prepared the maps, but we have shared the relevant information. And one of us is working on the map thing as well. So because the information regarding country profile and also the WRB soil groups that was shared, it was not clearly reflected on the in the atlas.
Yeah. So I understand that you have the correlation, you have the profiles, but the map is still in work. So if you could give us any indication how long you expect your colleagues to take with the map, so when we can get the final map layer.
Yeah, coming week we will share the information. In case of there is any problem, we will know you.
Yeah, but can you estimate the time? Because why we are asking, because now we are merging all the maps together. We are sorting out all border issues in order to come up with the final layer, final data set, so that Arwin and colleagues at GRC, the editors, the atlas editors, can start preparing the atlas, the maps for the atlas. So
okay.
We need to understand also, do we expect the national map from you in what kind of time frame, or should we like look at the solutions to add the data from global sources? That's the question basically.
I will share the detailed information by tomorrow so that we could come to a conclusion, by the way.
Okay,
so because 3 of us are working, Dr. Munir, I myself, Dr. Bilal, and also the Dr. Saber. So in consultation with them, I will be sharing the information tomorrow.
Thank you very much. That will be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we will be clear with Pakistan very soon. We also missing Afghanistan from this region. I don't know if anybody from Afghanistan is connected. But we don't have.
Not today, I think.
Yeah, we don't have Afghanistan's map. Then, speaking only of Asia, we're not speaking about Eurasia or NENA. Then speaking of Asia, we don't have China. That's our biggest gap. I don't think any colleagues from China are with us today, or are there any?
China is not with us. I'm checking on Afghanistan.
So we did have a positive exchange with China, and okay, they didn't join the meeting, but we were told that they would contribute. So we'll just have to follow up, I think, on that one.
Okay, that's great. And
we are Afghanistan registered to the meeting, but I don't see them in the list of connected participants.
Okay.
So sorry, they registered but didn't show. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we're also missing Malaysia. I don't know if anybody registered for Malaysia.
I'm checking. No. Malaysia, no.
Okay. Well, we are missing, of course, North Korea. Yeah, with South Korea, I think everything is fine. And that's about it.
So Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, and Malaysia, and Timor-Leste.
Timor-Leste, yeah, and Papua New Guinea.
No, I think so. For Papua, I think increasingly, I think we leave it out, because in reality, most of Papua New Guinea, or most of the New Guinea island, let's say, is on the outside of the Asian, the Sunda plate or something like this. So we keep the western part because it falls under the Indonesian aspect, but I think we can leave it the western, sorry, the eastern part as it is. So we don't include it within the atlas.
Okay, so no Papua New Guinea.
No.
Okay then, yeah. All the rest, we're good.
So we move to the next agenda item.
Well, just one more thing. Let's say then, just to reflect. So, let's just have a quick recap on the timetable. So let's say that if we can have let's try to get the missing data files also within this period, so that when we do get together with the let's say the countries, we'll try to have a complete coverage of the area as much as possible.
So the deadline is to get the missing data file.
Yeah. So I would say in parallel, let's look at I don't know, at a slot. We can say something like, let me just have a look at my calendar to see what date. So I don't know, maybe in that week beginning the 14th of December or something like this, let's try to see if we can arrange to have a series of short meetings. They don't have to be very long, and as I say, we will make them bilateral, so that we can focus on addressing border issues, and we will try to get the data for these missing countries as well. What about Nepal and Bhutan as well, by the way?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, just reminded me. We don't have Bhutan and Nepal. But the issue is that the countries don't have any map covering all of their territory, high in the mountains. So they were actually working on soil survey, but due to COVID situation this year, they were unable to finish it. So they will continue soil surveys next year to complement their national maps and to finish their national maps. But I'm not sure they will be able to provide the maps yet this year anyhow. We know this situation, but maybe for the time being, we should think about other solutions for Bhutan and Nepal.
Yeah.
So wait, Arwin, you said that by the 14th of December, we want to get all missing data file, and from the 14th of December, we will start organizing the bilateral meetings. I can share my screen.
Yeah. Because the alternative is then we slip into the beginning of January. So maybe if people are more relaxed, then we can also look at the week beginning the 11th of January or something like that as an alternative.
Can we interrupt a bit?
So organization of bilateral meeting until 11 January.
Well, yeah, or maybe during the week. 11 January.
Wait, there is someone talking on the back. What did you say? Sorry.
So let's try to get the data by the middle of December, and then we organize the bilateral meetings in early January.
Okay.
But that gives Kostya and then some time maybe to do any processing and tidy up, and then we can
actually
give people let's say a month or so to look at the information they need for eventual reclassification of polygons.
Actually, you know, Kostya will be leaving the GSP. I don't know if you were informed about it. We are very sorry about it, but he's going to go for a PhD. Maybe he can tell you more. But Kostya, when is your last working day?
Yeah, that's correct. My last working day is 18th December. Well, 17th December. Okay, 18th, I'm flying back. Yes, so yeah, before that, of course, I will receive any contributions and add them to the harmonized layer that I'm sharing with you. But after that, I'm sorry, but my contribution will cease.
Yeah.
So you will send us the updated map by, let's say, 17th of December.
Yeah. Well, yeah, better by 14th maybe. As soon as any country will be adding their map, I will be updating the shared global file that we have on Google Drive. So I'm just updating this one in real time now.
So we'll keep on updating. And then when Kostya leaves, Yusuf will likely take it over, Arwin, just for your information.
Yeah. So I can I can also help out in the GIS work. It's not a problem. But maybe with that in mind, then perhaps we should try to schedule some of the bilateral meetings then in maybe in early December as well, before, so we can benefit a little bit from Kostyan's presence. So maybe we can we give people some time to reflect now, but maybe on Friday during the plenary, we can already ask for some volunteers to have some early bilateral meetings at the beginning of December. And then because of the closures and holidays and things like this, then maybe we will try to then conclude these bilateral meetings in that first few weeks of January.
Yeah.
Let's say by the middle of January, no, by the 15th of January or something like that. I will take some holidays over the end of the year, so I will be out of the office for probably about 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
Just because I have holidays to take, because we haven't been anywhere.
Okay. I wrote like this, then I fix it.
Yeah. So,
well, is everybody fine with this agenda, with this proposed timetable? You can write in the chat. Okay. Over to you, Arwin.
yeah. So just one final remark to Kostya is that I just noted that in the image of the data received so far, there's a rather abrupt border in the west of Siberia, and I don't know if it's already possible to crop the Russian map along the Ural Mountains, so that we have the actual, let's say, traditional border with Asia, rather than the straight line as we have now. That's just a general comment.
Yeah, well, I don't have any kind of borders of Ural Mountains or so on. If you have this kind of borderline, I can surely crop it.
Yeah.
So far, I was just looking at the spreads of maps as reference to make sure that the parts of Russia that are there are included. Or if you want, I can just put all the Russia there to the layer so that it can be cropped later. Maybe that will be easier.
Okay, now I will look to see about a border with the Ural Mountains for you then for there.
Okay, and the north of Russia, because I got the impression from the spreads of the atlas that not all Siberia will be included, but more of a southern part. That's why I also cropped it in the north. Or should we include all the Russia?
I would include all of it for the time being, because I think that part, let's say the northern coastline, is also regarded as the northern coastline of the Asian part. So
okay, then I will actually include all Russia maybe. Yeah, then we may crop the Urals, yeah, of course, at any moment.
Okay. Actually, if we don't mind, I will just leap for a moment in the agenda to the map spreads, because I think it's relevant to what we've been talking about. And so you have received from us now the, let's say, the layouts for the individual map spreads as they will look in the atlas. So these are what you see in those images. I am trying to load it, but actually it's very slow. Just a second. Okay, let me please give me just a bit of patience. Okay. My apologies. But so I hope you can see the screen. So just to explain a little bit. So what you see in front of you now in these images are the A2 spread. So here on this screen, you see two A3 pages. So it's like having the atlas fully open in front of you with 2 pages visible. So the layout of the map spreads will have this appearance. We will have a locator map in the corner where you can see the distribution of the individual pages. There will be, let's say, page indicators as arrows to the adjacent pages. We are missing here at the moment a map scale box, which is which should be apparent here, which hasn't been added yet. And we have a text box to basically summarize the broad distribution of soil types that are visible on this map. You can also see that there's a standard topographic base has been cartographic base has been applied to each sheet, and each sheet is actually projected along a central meridian. So the middle of the page, so that's the middle of the spread rather, so that's the space between each individual page is always vertical. So that's why you see that on the overview map, you have this curved pattern of pages because each one has a slightly different map projection in order that we have basically a rectangle on the map page. So just for illustrations, as we said, we've simply displayed some soil data on here from the Harmonized World Soil Database. This will be replaced eventually by the information that you are providing. So please don't pay too much attention to this. However, for the regions where we won't have any data, and I'm hopeful that we won't have many of those, this will be potentially the type of background information that we would show for those areas. So you're asked simply to check whether if there are errors in the cartographic base in terms of the place names. There are some lake names, maybe river names are missing at the moment. As I said, we will also look to overlay the river network with a standard product for the whole region, and the same maybe for the larger cities, where we would display the extent of the larger cities with another product. So please have a quick look at these. As I don't dwell too much about the soil information that's being shown, but it gives you an idea of how your region, how your country will look, let's say, as part of the final product. Okay. So I'm just stepping through some of these. Probably the areas outside of Asia, we will show maybe in a sort of a slightly opaque version, so that we will still show some soil information to show that actually that the information continues, but it will be sort of grayed out a little bit, just to make clear that we are focusing on the Asian part of the coverage. So as soon as we have, let's say, the soil coverage from you, I will make a first draft of writing the text for these little boxes, and we will share that with you, and you will have the opportunity to comment and reflect on that. Also, in parallel, when we produce this the map spreads for you, we will have obviously the legend page, because by then also we will have a full list of the codes that indeed Kostya showed earlier in the morning. So it will be very clear what information is being displayed. Okay. So at least you can have a look and see what your area looks like. Does anybody have any comments on this before we move on to the next part? I see some comments from Cambodia. Could FAO share the report format of this soil map? Which soil map are we talking about? Sorry.
What does report format means?
Yes.
Chin, can you please clarify your comments in the chat? Chin from Cambodia.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Good afternoon. I mean the report format is for the national countries report. So we will write a report from our national soil map. So maybe you can share the good format that we can follow for the homogeneous format or any
okay, just so to be clear,
format,
yeah. So to be clear, I will draft, let's say, because a lot of these maps cover more than one country. So I will draft the first version, and then I will give it to you to check whether the parts that are relevant for your country are correct. Okay, so you just have to react to the the 2 or 3 paragraphs that will come for each of these map spreads. Okay? So it won't be.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we might be do more detail more than the soil atlas, I think.
Yes. Okay. To bear in mind that on each page, as you can see here, I just use this example as a to illustrate. So here in this map spread, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries, no, 6, even 7. So this box that you see here being highlighted will refer to all of these countries in one go. So it's talking about this one map spread. So we won't be talking specifically about countries per se. We will say that most of this map is showing the desert soils of the Arabian Peninsula and around the Persian Gulf, where you find arenasols and so on. The purple areas are saline soils, solenchaks and what have you. So it'll be much more general relating to the overview than to specific country. It's true that in some areas there will be just a single country being displayed, but in most cases there will be, as you say here, a mixture of countries. So we don't have, it's just simply an explanatory text for the patterns that we have here, but you will have the opportunity then to comment on these texts.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Then there was a question from Pandi, if each sheet, if each sheet will have also the legend.
No, each sheet will not have a legend. However, the pages before, there will be a legend, as in the previous atlas. And although they're not shown here, each polygon will have a label or a code to allow people then to check that against the eventual legend. In the Africa and South America atlases, we also produced a piece of card, like a bookmark, on which the legend was also printed, and this can be moved from page to page. So that's something that we can also consider doing as well.
Yeah, I remember. That would be good, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So as I say, this is just to give you a flavor for what what the map spreads will actually look like, okay, when they are completed. And while this is a different data set, it'll give you a sense of how your country looks. Okay. So. Okay. Okay then, so let's move on maybe to the preparation of the other maps. So I think I'll stop sharing here. So I think that a lot of these are being prepared now by the GSP Secretariat in terms of the carbon and salinization. We have the soil erosion version done by the JRC. So I don't know, Kostya, do you want to say a little bit about the progress of those, or is anybody from FAO?
Yeah, I can see something. So the organic carbon map is out there and can be well used. We're continuously updating it. It's now version 1.6.1, and probably we will update it once again with a few more countries in the next month. Regarding the salinity map, we're still working with the countries. Many countries are have submitted their salinity maps. Many countries are still working on them. Many countries are still collecting data. And then we had an INSI meeting where this issue was discussed among all of the GSP countries. So what it was decided that we should give more time to the countries to finalize their salinity maps. And when they do, we should then explore jointly with all the countries what kind of results we're getting, then have some sort of confirmation process or like a validation, expert validation process of the results. So our schedule is currently being moved to the next year. We're now launching it this year. So somewhere in the first quarter of next year, we will see if we have enough contributions to launch this global map and enough gap filling opportunities. But then, yeah, the decision will ultimately be done by the participating countries somewhere in the first quarter of next year. So you can think, Arwin, if that kind of schedule, how much it fits the schedule of the Atlas publication. It's not 100% certain yet from our side, but more or less you have the idea. Then we are working also on carbon sequestration map. This work has just started. We've just started the trainings, and by the way, the training for Asia is starting in 20 minutes, the second day of this training. So we will finish these trainings by February next year. And then again in the end of first quarter of next year, we will see if by then we already have enough countries comfortable with their contributions to publish the global map and to have the final layer, or whether it will need some more time, some more work from the countries. Again, decision will be made somewhere next year in the first quarter. Regarding the erosion map, that work is fully moved to the next year. So the process hasn't started yet, the trainings, the methodology, so I don't think that this map will be done in time for the Atlas. That's more or less our situation.
So we will have three, Arwin, we cannot hear you, you are muted. So we will have expect to have 3 global maps by next year. The one on, well, carbon, salinity, and the carbon sequestration potential, right?
Well, depending on what you mean by next year, carbon we have already, and the 2 other we will have at some point next year, but not at the 1st of January, let's say.
Because the problem is that we are supposed to publish the Atlas in December 2021, if I remember right.
So these timelines should be somehow discussed because there might be an issue here.
So I mean, I would count the fact that we have the erosion map as well, because we have a global erosion product that we can use. So I would basically go ahead with the what we have, and we are guaranteed. We can consider putting a placeholder for maybe issues where there's a bit of uncertainty about the timeline, but and then with the material and the COVID and everything, we will see how close we are to the target publication date. So we will know, let's say, I would think by around April or May, I think of next year, where we are in terms of completion in time. I think we are making progress, but I think we still have quite a bit of work to do.
So since the colleagues at the FACI Secretariat are in the meeting and they are also donor to the project, I would like to ask them to please take note of this and tell us if this remark is actually acceptable for them, so that by April, May, we will review all the material we have, especially in terms of maps, building on what Kostya just informed informed us about, and also linking to the fact that countries are still facing COVID issues, and there might be a slight postponement of the publication time of the atlas. Eventually, we're not sure. So just a note for colleagues at the Apache Secretariat.
But I mean, I think what I don't want to prejudge the issue, but you know, one could think that instead we may have to consider a fallback whereby it's printed and published, I don't know, in the first part of 2022 as opposed to the World Soil Day 2021. We could still think about making an event on the Soil Atlas of Asia for 2021, because we will have by then quite an advanced draft. But I don't want to sort of prejudge the issue now. Let's see where we are in terms of input, but we know that we will need a certain period for review of the final product, sort of a proofreading, hopefully by some independent reviewers as well, who are not necessarily involved in the project. We will need a few weeks after that to implement any changes. It takes at least 6 weeks or so to print and to bind, and then to get copies. So let's say 2 months in this period. So we see that we will see by as I said, April, May, where we are in terms of content, and if we are in a position to start looking at the at the final steps of the atlas. Okay, but we are making progress. So I see that we are coming to the end. I mean, this is also part of the discussion that we will have on Friday morning also, so I don't want to necessarily dwell too much on this. I think yes, Ms. Waz.
I'm very sorry, I was stuck up with another very important meeting. So if there is any point with regards to India, kindly let me know.
Yeah, okay, so I was just before you leave, if you give me 1 second, I was going to now move on to the last part of the meeting, which was on the country profiles. And specifically, I think you raised an issue about the flag. That's simply a scaling issue within the box where the flag is, and that can be fixed very easily. But yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention, and we'll fix that.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the last part was the review of the country profiles. So thank you very much for sending the information so far. We really appreciate the effort you've gone in. As you, well, I don't know if you've all seen, but many of you or most of you sent us a tremendous amount of material information, a lot more than we could show in the format that eventually we had to adapt. I'm trying to open actually the file for them for this, but it doesn't seem to. Okay, it's very slow on my home computer. Let's see. Now, I just want to reassure people that we're not going to simply throw away all the material that you've provided us. In here, there's a wealth of information that I think we can really use in the, let's say, the front half of the atlas, where we're talking about the the soil forming processes and how soils are used, and these sort of little stories and things like this that we've talked about. So when we move our attention back to that part of the atlas, we will be able to use a lot of this information, and especially I'm very pleased with the photographs and some graphics that have been supplied by people. That's really good. So I'll just try to share very quickly. Okay, so hopefully now you can see the layout that we have. So we try to obviously I had to condense down your contributions into this sort of block of text here, and so I've tried to sort of apply a standard edit. So basically they all look and read in a consistent way. In some cases, I had to sort of reinterpret, let's say, what was written. A lot of you have sent comments, generally sort of minor comments on this, and we will now go through and update these texts so we can provide you with a revised content that picks up on your issues. Unfortunately, I sent you a version that I hadn't saved the spell checker, so there were some typos in there. I'm sorry for that. We try to avoid that generally, but I will now go through each of your individual comments. If I can't understand something, or if there's a query, then I'll get back to you on a bilateral basis, and we can address those issues. I'm happy also to accept sort of some additional text, but the only point there is that if we add anything, something else will have to be removed first. So the overall limit is fixed, although we can play around a little bit with the odd sentence here and there if you want to emphasize a particular part more than what we have in there at the moment. So I think it's very good that we've managed to complete this. It's there's quite a lot of work from your side, and as I say, I've tried to edit it into a way that it fits within our let's say the format of the atlas. Does anybody have any comments or questions to this part? I know that many of you have sent comments already by email. We don't have time to think today to go through each of these comments country by country, but as I say, I will go through them, and then maybe, let's say by Friday, hopefully I can already share an updated version with you, and we can put this section to bed, as it were. Okay, so if anybody has any comments or questions, please tell me. Okay. So, Kupandi. So with that in mind, then I think we can more or less close the meeting 10 minutes earlier or so. So I'd like to thank you all for your patience and contributions in advance and also during this morning. And then I look forward to seeing you again on Friday morning, and where we'll, let's say, maybe try to share with you some common issues, if there are any, And then maybe we'll come back to this timeline for the completion of the project and what we want to do for the next steps. Lucrezia, anything else to add?
Yes, so just to recap a bit, the assignments from here to Friday. So please keep on sending us the maps if you didn't do it already, or discussing mapping issues with Kostya. Keep on sending us your review of the country profiles if you didn't do it already, so that we can update the document. And have a good day. And thank you so much for your contribution. And we see you on Friday. Remember, if you like to join the meeting of, well, the Near East, the countries in the Near East and Eurasia tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, you're welcome to do it. This can be interesting, especially for those countries, for example, like Mongolia, that border with Russia. So please feel free to join these meetings. The link is always the same, so you can use the same link you used today, just the time change. So please consult the agenda. And thank you so much.
So thanks to Lucrezia, also to Kostya and Erica, who left us also for your contributions and hard work as well. So thank you very much. Have a good evening, I suppose, for most of you, and for the European colleagues, have a good day, and we'll see the rest of you tomorrow morning.
Bye, thank you.
See you. Bye-bye now.